Hello, everyone. I decided to go over the Thailand defamation law because, I made a video not too long ago about a situation that I had with a prospective employer. The prospective employer decided 5 days beforehand to not give me the position, and they made a bunch of excuses for why. So, I made a video reviewing the employer. So now I'm being threatened with legal action by the employer. The employer didn't really threaten me. They threatened an associate of mine, saying that they were gonna, I guess, get me locked up. All right, so I wanted to go over this because not many foreigners understand the defamation law, the defamation statute, nor do Thais understand the criminal code for it. So I decided to go over it so that everyone could have an understanding. So, the code is defamation. It's under sections of the criminal code 326 to 333. Okay, so it just talks about the offenses, the way that you can do it, and the punishment for it. So section 326 pretty much gives you a definition of what the law considers defamation. It says whoever imputes anything to other person before a third party in a manner likely to impair the reputation of such other person or to expose such other person to be hated or scorned is said to commit defamation and shall be punished with imprisonment not exceeding 1 year or fine. So pretty much if you shit talk someone, you are in violation of it. Okay. So you have defamation of family, talking ill of the dead before a third person, that it can hurt the family. So if you were to talk shit about this person who passed and it hurts the family's reputation, their standing within the community, you know, that is considered to be defamation. So publication, there's an exception here. And I wanted to go into the exception, but first I wanted to say why I think the law makes sense in Thailand. In Thailand, reputation and face is very important. Remember, we're talking about an agricultural society. This is a society where way back when people did trade. Relationships were very important with trade when you're talking about an agricultural society. So, for example, if I were to have cows, you had vegetables, this person over there had water, that person had a mini mart, we would make our own economy within our area. So, I would trade some, you know, meat for some of the vegetables over there. Maybe I had some chickens. I would trade chicken eggs with the water person, and some of my meat with the person that has the convenience store. So, we have a little economy. So, these relationships are very important. So, here's the thing, I have influence because I have meat. First, if we were to say that meat was the more important commodity of this group, so I have influence. If I started shit talking the person that had the convenience store because I didn't like them, and I convince everyone to not do business with that person, I'm hurting that person because that person cannot get their vegetables anymore. That person cannot get water anymore. I'm pretty much getting that person ostracized, which isn't really right, especially when this person is relying on these other people in order to survive. So I could understand why this law would be put into existence. I could also understand why, for Thai people, faith is very important because face to Thai people is kind of like currency. Your reputation determines how you do business with people. It also determines your relationships. Relationships affect transactions here. So it makes sense. But section 329 talks about the exceptions. So a person in good faith expresses any opinion or a statement, one, by way of self justification or defense, or for the protection of a legitimate interest. So that would be you pretty much having proof, or being able to defend what you say. So if I do a review on a business And I'm talking about my experience and I'm giving facts as to what happened and not just going out making statements that I can't prove. That's protected. You see at the bottom it says, shall not be guilty of defamation. I shall not be guilty of defamation if it's by way of self justification or defense or for the protection of a legitimate interest. So, like, let's say that I own a business selling vehicles and I see and I can prove that another company is selling water damaged vehicles. I managed to get a hold of a vehicle that was water damaged and I let people know, consumers know, and I let the consumer department for the country know that this dealership is selling consumer vehicles that are water damaged from the floods. That is not defamation. If I were to say that and I had no proof and it was not true, that would be defamation. My interest is selling vehicles, or it could be the safety of someone. I'm saying someone is doing some dangerous practices. For example, a doctor is committing botched plastic surgeries. If I were to tell people to stay away from that doctor because five of their patients died, and there was proof that it was due to the methods of practice, that is not defamation. If I were to say it and have no proof, that would be defamation. Moving on to number two, in the status of being an official in the exercise of his functions. So again, that goes back to me knowing my business. Like, let's say, for example, I was a doctor and I knew that another doctor within my workplace had been doing acts that put patients in danger or did an act that hurted a patient, and I said so, and I let people know in the workplace, that's not defamation. Why? I'm a doctor. I'm in an official capacity, to exercise the functions needed to be a doctor. So I know what I'm talking about. I'm not some random person off of the street that's just saying that this person is not doing this right, this person is not doing that right. I'm in an official capacity. I could be in the military and I could talk about the way that that soldier is handling their weapon, not doing the proper procedures. I'm a specialist in the matter. I've been trained in the matter. I'm a weapon specialist as well. I can say that. I'm not defaming this person by pointing out things that they're doing wrong. Unless I wasn't, then that would be a different story. Number three, by way of fair comment on any person or thing subjected to public criticism. So if there's an issue going on in the country, which I'm not going to really comment on because, I'm not a local, but, everybody talks about the past prime minister. She's in the spotlight due to things that happened, and she's a part of public criticism. Some people like a policy that she may authorize, some people don't. So if you gave an opinion that you thought that it was very bad that she did that, that's not defamation. Anything that's in the public spotlight that's being criticized is not considered to be defamation when you give an opinion. Okay? By way of fair report of the open proceeding of any court or meeting. Okay, so if I were to go to court and I were to be made to testify and I tell the events that happened as I saw them, that's not defamation. If I got pulled into a meeting at work where they were investigating and I gave my account of what happened, that's not defamation. So you see, these are the exceptions. Then they have truth as a defense. See, so they go into 329 by breaking them into different sections, sections 330, sections 331. See, you have 330. It talks about truth as a defense. In the case of defamation, if the person prosecuted for defamation can prove that the imputation made by him is true, he shall not be punished. So anyone in this country can threaten you with a defamation lawsuit. But as long as you have evidence, then nothing can be done to you. Pretty much nothing can be done. That's why it's important that you record phone calls. I stress this a lot and I do this a lot in this country. When I'm dealing with someone that I don't know so well, or when I'm dealing with a matter that is very, very important to where, the loss of the damages can be a lot, I record what's being said. I don't know why, but in this country, people have no problem with lying. Mainly because um, the law and the authorities don't punish for it. In America, if you lied to a police officer, you got caught lying in court, you're screwed. You would go to jail. You would get in trouble. Here, people lie all the time, you know. You can go to the police with a person that you're having an issue with to try to resolve it, and they'll lie, and the police will catch them in a lie, look at them like they're crazy, but not do anything. Where in America, you would get locked up. You could get into trouble. So it's very important that you have evidence. That's why I recommend when you're doing business, when you're transacting, if you're talking on the phone, record. The Android phones have an app in the app market that records conversations. You can record what's being said and just save it in your phone, save it in the cloud so that later on, when you have an issue, you have proof. There's proof of what happened because people here tell on themselves. People here love to talk, especially the local people. Local people are very social. They love to conversate. They tell on themselves. But if you don't have what they said, they'll say they never said it. Okay, opinion in a court proceeding. The party in a case of parties lawyers express an opinion or statement in the proceeding of the court of the favor in the court of his case shall not be offense of defamation. So if you're giving your account of what happened and you being asked, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? You're not going to be held liable. Okay. So in my case, I gave a review of a company, of a potential employer, and my account of what happened. The employer didn't like that. They didn't call me, they called a third party to try to threaten the third party. The reason for that is because they feel that by doing that, they can get what they want because locals don't like confrontation. Thai people don't like confrontation. If you call a Thai person and you threaten a Thai person, on account of what their friend did, more than likely they're gonna call their friend and say, "Hey, this is happening. Can you just do this? Can you do that?" That's what this employer was counting on happening. This employer didn't know that I know the law here on defamation, and that I myself would not do something in order to jeopardize the company. Besides, give my account of what happened. I recommended not that people don't use them, that people be careful, like a buyer beware statement because of what I went through. While it was legal for the employer to not hire me 5 days out for the simple fact that, I didn't do a contract, it's still kind of messed up. It's not really fair. So I have the right to go online and say what happened to let other people know because the employer doesn't realize that they are playing with someone's life, someone's livelihood. Excuse me, someone's livelihood. By someone accepting a job with you, you have to think that they are turning down other job offers. You have to think that they are counting on your employment in order to take care of themselves. While it is legal for you to do that, it's not fair, really. So I have the right to give my account so that people can learn from it because not only will they learn from it with your company, but they'll learn how to deal with other companies. Maybe it's not a wise decision to put all of your eggs in one basket and rely on one person to take care of you. Maybe you should have more than one employer lined up. It's really bad, but it's a double edged sword. It's not fair. What you're doing is teaching me that I need to say yes to every company. I need to say yes to every company because your company might screw me over. Your company might decide to change their mind. So if I have 5 companies that want to hire me, I should say yes to everyone. Then when it's time to work, I choose one, the other 4 are left without someone. Is that fair to other companies? No. So practice what you preach, treat people the way you want to be treated, and learn your laws before you try to threaten someone with it. Don't call threatening that police, because police don't make the laws, they enforce it. A Thai police officer cannot come to me about defamation. You have to go to a lawyer. So do that. Okay, so that's all I have. That's all I have about this law. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.